Alright.
You don't gotta say it, but you gotta do it. 3 points of contact, we go in and exit the vehicle, facing in. Okay, then first thing you do is put your seatbelt in. Make sure all your valves are out. It's on neutral. I'm gonna put it in on position. I'm gonna let my gauges cycle. My ABS light came on and off. It's working properly. My ABS light on my trailer came on and off. It's working properly. Now I'm gonna safe start. I'm gonna accelerate to 10 RPM. I'm gonna build up my air tanks 120 to 140 until my air governor cuts off. Between 120 and 140, my air tanks are full. I'm gonna turn off my vehicle. I'm gonna put it in on position. I'm gonna let my gauges cycle. First, I'm gonna do my air leak test. So I'm gonna start my time. I'm gonna tell the examiner I should not lose 4 PSI in 1 minute. Start my 1 minute. Once the air goes in, you hit the brake. Let's say, for example, 1 minute passed by. I did not lose 4 PSI in 1 minute. It's working properly. They both at 100 PSI. I didn't lose 4 PSI in 1 minute. Now I'm gonna continue to fan my brake of 55 to 60 until my low air indicator alarm goes off, or my warning alarm. My warning alarm came out at 60 PSI. Is working properly. I'm gonna continue to fan my brake to 20 to 40 PSI, and both of my valves, my parking brake and my trailer brake, should pop out. Keep pressing until the other one comes out. Both of my valves popped out at 20 PSI. My air leak test was successful. It's working properly. I'm gonna turn on my vehicle, put the key in my pocket. Unless the examiner tells you it's okay to leave it on. I'm gonna chuck my wheels now. 3 points of contact. Put it on position. I'm I'm gonna build up my air tanks 120, 140. Until my air governor cuts off. I'm gonna check my parking, my trailer, and my service brake. Cut off. So now I'm gonna check my parking brake. I'm gonna engage my trailer brake in. I'm gonna put it on drive. I'm gonna fill that little tuck. Okay. My parking brake is working properly. Now I'm gonna check my trailer brake, and my tires should not move. I'm gonna engage my parking brake in. Trailer brake is working properly. Now I'm gonna check my service brake. I'm gonna go forward 5 miles per hour. My steering wheel should not move to the left or to the right. Engage both of them in. Slowly. My service brake is working properly. My steering wheel did not move to the left or to the right, and my speedometer is working properly. Now I'm gonna turn on my vehicle and I'm gonna put it in out position. Or you can leave it on. It all depends on the situation. So I'm gonna start with my lighting indicators. I'm gonna start with my clearance and my low beam. They're working properly. My high beam indicator is working properly. My left turn signal is working properly. My right turn signal is working properly. And my four-way flashers are working properly. Now I'm gonna go with my emergency equipment. My seatbelt is properly mounted and secured. It's not cut, torn, or frayed. It latches and unlatches properly. My fire extinguisher is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. 10 BC or better. My pin is present and no leaks. Fully charged. My 3 reflective triangles, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. Ready for use, and the proper color is red. I have a box of fuses, 6 or more, and they're ready for use. My floor is clean of debris, nothing around my pedals, no oil and no grease, and it's clean. Gotta be 5 things, remember. Seatbelt, my reflective triangles, fire extinguisher, box of fuses, and the floor. And then I'm gonna continue doing my windshield and traffic monitoring devices. My windshield is properly mounted and secured. It's not bent, broken, or cracked. No illegal stickers, clean to the view. My rubber seal, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. properly mounted and secured, and no leaks. All my mirrors, from the left to the right, top and bottom, they're not broken or cracked, properly mounted and secured, not missing any screws or bolts, no illegal stickers, and adjusted to the driver. Then we're gonna do the windshield wipers. They're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and no missing any screws or bolts. My wiper blades, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and they're adjusted to my windshield. Then I'm gonna start with my washer fluid. Press it in right here, and you're gonna say it's working properly. This one's not working, but say working properly. The washer fluid should be coming out. My heater and my defroster. My heater, defroster is working properly. Then my city horn is working properly, and my air horn is working properly. Now I'm gonna tell that you could call this city horn or electrical horn, either or. Air horn or highway horn, either or. You'll be all right. Then you're gonna tell the examiner, can you check all my external lights? He's gonna get down. You're gonna go forward, left, right. Okay, low beams. Okay, high beams. Okay, four-way flashers. Okay, it's gonna go to the back. You gotta look in the mirrors. Don't look behind your glass. Look at your mirrors. Left. Okay, right. Okay, four-way flashers. Okay, then the brake. And then that's how you do your whole in cap. Vamos a hacer el pre-trip para la clase A, el manual, el estándar. This is a manual. Class A, pre-trip. My clearance lights, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and the proper color is amber. And they function properly. They work properly. My four-way flasher, marker light, and turn signal, properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and the proper color is amber. My high beam and low beam, properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and the proper color is clear or white. Ahí nos vamos a ir a las placas. My license plates, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and they're up to date. There's no oil puddles, no cable, no hoses. My truck is even, it's not leaning side to side, indicating a bad suspension or low tire. Que significa que mi troca está nivelada, no tiene la suspensión mala o una llanta punchada, no está de lado a lado. Luego vamos a hacer aquí, vamos a abrir esto. Los puntos de contacto. Vamos a hacer la lista, fluid levels, fluid and air leaks. Esta lista la pueden traer en el examen. Ya nomás se van guiando. My washer fluid reservoir, properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's not leaking, and it's operating standard level. My cap is tight and it's present. Que no está quebrada, no está dañada, no le faltan tornillos ni tuercas. Está en el nivel apropiado y tiene su tapa y está en el nivel que debe estar y no está liqueando. My coolant reservoir is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's not leaking. My cap is tight and present, and it's operating standard level. I'm gonna do a general overview of all my hoses, todas las mangueras. All my hoses, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. They're properly mounted and secured, and no leaks. It's not leaking. Que no están rompidas, no están rotas, dañadas, y no están liqueando. And all my clamps are present. De ahí nos vamos al otro lado. My oil cap is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and there's no oil leaks around my motor. My oil dipstick is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's not leaking. I take it out, I clean it, I insert it back in, I take it out, and it should be between the add and fill, or operating standard level. And I put it back in. Que no está quebrado, no está dañado, no le faltan tornillos y no está liqueando. Lo saco, lo limpio, lo meto para adentro, lo saco y debe estar en add and fill, or operating standard level. Power steering reservoir is properly mounted and secured, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's not leaking. My cap is tight and it's present. General Airlines, todas mis mangueras, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and it's not leaking. My metal fittings, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's not leaking. De en la lista nos vamos our steering system. Viene siendo esto. My steering column is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and not missing the screws or bolts. And if I check, it should not have more than 10 degrees to the left or to the right. No está quebrado, no está dañado, y no debe dar más de 10 grados de vuelta para la izquierda ni para la derecha. De ahí nos vamos a los U-joints. My U-joints, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and properly greased. También engrasados. Gearbox is properly mounted and secured to my frame, not missing any screws or bolts, and no leaks. It is gear driven. That's optional. Es opcional, no lo tienen que decir, o si quieren decirlo, díganlo. My pivot arm, my drag link, my upper and lower control arm, and my tie rod, la tie rod, 4 en 1. It's not broken or cracked, properly mounted and secured, not missing any castle nuts or cotter keys. Aquí están los castle nuts y los cotter keys. Estos son los castle nuts y cotter keys. My rubber bushings, they're properly mounted and secured, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, properly greased, and it's not leaking. My leaf spring mount is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. My leaf spring, front and rear, que es enfrente y atrás, not broken or cracked, properly mounted and secured, and no signs of shifting or scissoring. De ahí nos vamos a U-bolts. Estos son los U-bolts. Properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. De ahí nos vamos al amortiguador, my shock absorber. My shock absorber mounts, upper and lower. They're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. My shock absorber itself is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's not leaking, no está liqueando, and it's functioning, que funciona bien. De ahí nos vamos al brake hose. My brake hose, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, properly mounted and secured on both sides, and it's not leaking. My ABS wire is not cut, torn, or frayed. No exposed wires, properly mounted and secured on both sides. And all my clamps are present, que tiene todos los clampos. De ahí nos vamos a ir al brake liner, que está aquí abajo, que viene siendo el freno. My brake liner is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's free of all contaminants, no oil, no debris, and at least you have 1/4 or 1/4 of thickness. Debe tener un cuarto de grueso del freno. My brake drum is properly mounted and secured, not broken or cracked, no signs of bluish or discoloration, indicating overheating, que no está azul o de diferentes colores, significa cuando está muy caliente, que está muy usado. De ahí nos vamos a las llantas. We go to our tires. My inner and my outer tire wall is properly mounted and secured to my rim, with no leaks. My tire face, and no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and no leaks. My tire face, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Properly mounted and secured. No leaks. It's not a recap. It has to be a virgin tire. Tiene que ser una llanta virgen. No puede ser una llanta repuesta. No leaks. And I should have 432 seconds of deep tread. Que tiene que ser 432 la llanta. De ahí nos vamos al rim. My rim is properly mounted and secured. Not bent, broken, or cracked. No illegal wheels. My lug nuts. All my lug nuts are present. None of them are missing. They're not broken or cracked. They're properly mounted and secured. No signs of rustiness or shyness indicating over looseness or over tightness. No están muy apretados, no están muy flojos. My hub seal is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. And it's operating standard level, if I check. Then vamos al valve stem. My valve stem is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. My cap is tight and no leaks. And if I check, I should check with a tire gauge. I should have no less than 100 PSI. No puede ser menos de 100 libras de aire. And there's no leaks. Eso es todo lo enfrente del vehículo. Side of the vehicle, del manual. Este es al lado del camión. Lenses, eso lo tienen que hacer de vuelta. My turn signal, forward flasher, marker light, properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and the proper color is amber. And my reflector, properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and the proper color is amber. De ahí nos vamos a ir a traffic and modern devices, que son los espejos, all my mirrors, todos mis espejos, all my mirrors. Y se vienen acá enfrente del examinador para que los mire. My mirrors, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and no illegal stickers, and it's adjusted to the driver. De ahí, my battery, la batería, my battery box is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's not leaking. My terminals, it's not cut, torn, or frayed. My wires, and no exposed wires. And my terminals, there's no corrosion. Que no están rompidas las líneas y las terminales no están dañadas. Este no tiene depth tank, so vamos a decir fuel tank, que está al otro lado. My fuel tank is properly mounted and secured, not been broken or cracked, and it's not leaking. My cap is tight and present. If I check, there should be a safety chain. Debe tener una cadena adentro. My metal straps is properly mounted and secured to my frame, not missing any screws or bolts. Properly mounted and secured. My rubber seal, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. And it prevents metal to metal contact. I have enough fuel to complete my trip. Que tengo suficiente gasolina para terminar mi ruta. De ahí nos vamos a ir al frame. My frame and my cross member. Es esto. De la orilla a orilla. Y mi frame, my cross member, they're not broken or cracked. Properly mounted and secured. Not bent, broken, or cracked. No illegal wheels. De ahí nos vamos a la airbag. La bolsa de aire. My airbag mounts upper and lower, properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. And my airbag, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and no leaks. You gotta do the it's combinations, vehicles only. Vamos a comenzar air and electric lines. Vamos a comenzar con my service. And my emergency line is el rojo. No abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Properly mounted and secured on both sides. And it's not leaking. My metal fittings, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked. It's not leaking. My glad hands, they're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. My rubber seal, que están adentro una gomita. No abrasions, bulges or cuts. Properly mounted and secured, and no leaks. Luego nos vamos a esta. My electrical line. It's not cut, torn or frayed. No exposed wires. It's properly mounted and secured on both sides. My electrical connector and my electrical adapter is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. And if I check, I should have 7 pins and no corrosion. My line should not be crossed, touching the catwalk or touching the frame. I have enough slack to make turns to the left or to the right. De ahí nos vamos a la quinta rueda, my fifth wheel. El release handle está al otro lado, donde se quita la manita, que está al otro lado. My release handle. You want to go there? En la quinta rueda vamos a comenzar en orden. En orden nos vamos a ir para mi apron, arriba. Properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and properly greased. My skid plate is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and properly greased. Between my apron and my skid plate, there should be no gap or no daylight. No debe haber luz entre el mandil y el skid plate. No debe haber espacio. Luego ahí vamos en orden. My safety latch is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and my counter key is present. Este es el release handle. My release handle is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's in the lock position, que está laqueado. De aquí nos vamos a mi pivot pin. It's properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and my counter key is present, and it's properly greased. Debe estar bien engrasado. De ahí nos vamos aquí al kingpin. Aquí arriba el fierro que va en la traila. My kingpin is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's well greased. My locking jaw es el fierro que está aquí abajo que lo cierra. It's properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's in the lock position around my kingpin or my shank. Eso viene siendo todo lo que es el coupling. Y luego esta viene siendo la parte de la trailer only. My marker light is properly mounted and secure, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and the proper color is amber. My DOT tape is properly mounted and secure, it's not cut, torn, or frayed. It's red and white, 50% on both sides. Ahí nos vamos a nuestro crank handle. My crank handle is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's in the put away position or stored away position. My landing gear leg is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's properly greased. My landing gear shoe it's not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's in the fully raised position. O pueden decir up position, que están para arriba. Luego pueden decir my cross members. They're properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts, and it's strong enough to hold my weight. Now when I see the clearance from my landing gear to my mud flap, I have enough space to make turns to the left or to the right. Que tienen espacio para dar vueltas. Ahí se ve hacia atrás. Este va a ser el marker light. Marker light properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and the proper color is red. Ahí se ven para acá atrás. My DOT tape. Y le apuntan los dos. They're properly mounted and secure, not cut, torn, or frayed. It's red and white, and 100% all the way. Now there's gonna be 3, 2, and 1. Turn signal, four-way flasher, and marker light. Brake light and marker light. And this is marker light. They're all properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, and they're all red. The color is red. My license plate light is properly mounted and secured, not bent, broken, or cracked, not missing any screws or bolts. The purple color is clear or white. My license plate, not missing any screws or bolts, not bent, broken, or cracked, and it's up to date. Esto viene siendo toda la traila del manual del estándar, clase A.
Come over and go right here, the middle lane, right? Now, if we wanted to get back on the highway, we would get in the left lane. But for test purposes, you know, the examiner is always going to give you heads up which lane to park into or turn into. And of course, I always want to make sure my trailer is, what's up, trucker? My trailer is always in my lane, because if it's out, you may have some people who are not good people. They may run into you and say, oh, you tried to run into them, or you turned too quick, or whatever the case may be. Also, once again, we don't want to pull past this white line right here, because if we are, guess what? Somebody's riding a bike or whatever, skateboard, they run into your truck. Oh, he pulled off too quick, he tried to hit me, or he bumped me, knowing all the while that that's not the case. So we're going to make a left turn here, and I'm going to turn into which lane? Let's see, which lane should I turn into? We have 3 lanes. There's a hazard right there. I'm going to turn into this lane because I'm not getting on the highway. So I'm going to turn into that left lane. And remember, the examiner will tell you, okay, let's get over to the right one lane. So you, whenever it's safe to do so, you get over to the right. And look, the speed limit again, 50 miles an hour. We're going to do 45. There we go. We see a lot of hazard signs up here, and it looks like most of it is on the right side of the road. So you tell your examiner, Mr. or Mrs. Examiner, is it okay if I get one lane over to the left because there's a hazard up here? And they're going to say yes. Put your turn signal on, go ahead and get over. And if they don't tell you to get back into the right lane, you stay in the lane that you're in. Like I say, the better you follow directions, the more success you'll have. And the safer you'll be, definitely. So we're going to stop at this light. So just remember, look for the signs. The arrows right there. If we were making the left turn, we would be in this lane where this truck is right here, but we're not. We're going to keep straight. Also, look, there's the bridge clearance. We got to call that out, right? Okay. All right. So, recap. Things that we need to talk about when we make or do a road trip. 1, the speed limit. We need to call that out at least once. 2, if we go past any school zone signs, we need to call those out. And then, of course, the bridge clearance, we need to call that out at least once. Next would be the emergency stop. Train tracks are things that we need to call out. Okay. So we've got a hazard. It's not too bad. We can make it without veering over to the left or right. Just going to keep going by. And sometimes, well, remember this, we're never in a rush. We're always creeping along. We never want to catch up to anybody. Sometimes it may take us longer to make turns because we have a longer vehicle. Not only that, it takes us a little while to get up to speed. So we always want to, you know, like I say, timing is everything. So we keep rolling along, and we're still trying to focus on keeping that distance. So if I had to count right now, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Okay, now I see brake lights, so that's going to be a little different. So we got to slow down a little bit. That will always keep you safe. Once you see those brake lights, okay, let me go ahead and see what's going on in front of me. And I may have to slow down. I may not. So the examiner may have you pull over at some point, and they will probably ask you about the train tracks and emergency stop. They will. But let's say this. So I'm not sure. It depends on the tester or examiner. They may ask you why you're driving. I remember I had that one time. Or they may pull you over, just have you pull over to the side of the road, and then you go over it that way. Or as you're going across train tracks. So, just be prepared, is what I'm saying. So the first thing I would say on train tracks, I would tell the examiner, as I'm approaching a train track, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to look left and right out of both windows. If a train is coming, I would stop 15 to 50 feet back. But since I'm not hauling any people or hazmat, I don't have to stop. And as I'm going across the tracks, I'm not going to stop until I'm completely across. That's all you need to say about the train tracks. Next, emergency stop. I would say I'm going to turn on my turn signal. Next, I'm going to make sure my tractor and trailer is completely off the road. After that, I'm going to turn on my four-way flashers. After that, I'm going to engage my brakes. And if I'm going to be sitting for over 10 minutes, I would put out my reflective triangles at 10, 100, and then 200 behind the truck. Now, when you answer that question, the examiner doesn't know what you're thinking. So you can say the front of the trailer, but the cones are different in the front. For me, I always say the back. Also, I would tell them for safety, I would get out of my passenger side door. Okay. So we're coming up again on an incline. We don't want to be coming too fast. We want to slow down in plenty of time. For example, if we had a load and we're hauling 60,000 pounds and we're coming up a little too fast, guess what? The service brake may not be enough to slow the vehicle down. So in those situations, if you're driving a stick shift or even an automatic, sometimes you can use the engine brake, just downshift, right? And that's going to help slow the vehicle down even more and faster. Now, we don't want to wait till we get right up on a vehicle, like I said, and slow down, because, if we do that, sometimes guess what will happen? We're hauling 50,000 pounds of whatever it is. The load is going to shift, and we don't want to do that. So we got a left turn right here. So we're going to make sure we make this turn the proper way. But yes, always pay attention to how your truck feels when you're making turns. A little busy out here today. I'm in Houston, Texas. Let's see what we got. Okay. So we're creeping up. Our turn signal on. I'm going to start coming over here and look. I'm going to see where my trailer's at, right? Trailer's good. Straighten it out, and I'm going to keep driving. Remember, we're always keeping our head on a swivel looking for hazards. And we always want to look forward as far as we can see. Examiner is going to tell you to get over to the right lane, you get over one lane. Speed limit here is 45. So we're going to try to do 40. But if we can't, we can't. So right here we have a red light. So we're slowing down all the way back here. We're trying to have a nice, smooth slow down here. So we're not shifting any of our load. And we have plenty of stopping power. All right. As long as there's enough room for a pickup truck just to get through there, because you already know I'm guilty of it too. Before I had a CDL, I would definitely cut off one of these semi trucks, especially my sports car. Oh yeah, and don't let me have a girl in the car. Oh yeah, we're definitely trying trying to show off a little bit. So let me get one lane over to the right. And we're watching for potholes as well. If we can't avoid a pothole, what do? We slow all the way down, right? And we go over it as slow as possible, as not to shift the load. And sometimes we can't help it. Now, there will be chances, or times that you will hit a curb, but hopefully not during your test. We do not want to hit a curb during the test. That's an automatic fail. So I'm coming up here. Oh, there's the light. There we go. We didn't go past that line. So now for test purposes, I would wait until the light turned green before I would go. Some schools will, or not schools, but some DPS officers will fail you for turning on a red light, even though you can do that. I don't know why, but. So we got one more turn to make right here. We've made all the other turns. We've called out everything that we needed to call out. We kept the truck nice and centered in the lane. Weren't too close to the curb, weren't too close to the yellow line over here. 2 hands on the wheel. Kept our head on the swivel looking for hazards. So here's the story. Guy was driving, semi-truck, dog runs out in front of the truck. He swerves into the next lane. He misses the car, but he hits some kind of pole he hit. I don't know if it was a telephone pole or a tree. Not exactly sure. Police was right there on the spot. Gave him a ticket for, whatever that property damage is, they call it. Destruction of property. He goes back to his job, told him, oh yeah, I almost hit a dog today. They said, what happened? Dog ran out. I swerved. I hit a pole, but there was no damage to the truck. He's thinking he's okay, but he still got a ticket. So the company let him go. So when you see these stray dogs or stray animals, if they run in front of the truck, hey, you just got to hit them. And I hate to say that, but at some point, the dog's going to get hit anyway. So why would you put your CDL in jeopardy? Not only that, why would you turn to avoid the dog and potentially hit another car or injure yourself? So anyway, I hope this video helped you out. If you're a CDL student, Class A, I hope this helped you out. All right.